Hi everyone! So, Quilfan here again. Callie from The Truth in Story made a video on her card collection a couple days ago, and she asked for us to do the same. So here I am filming a little video on my card collection. I store my cards in a little cupboard that's, well, I'm going to pan around. That's right behind me. I store all the books there as well, the guidebooks, the books I bought on tarot, on runes, well, all the good stuff, everything I researched, it's in there somewhere. Well, okay, there's also like vases and candles and stuff like that, so it's not just spiritual stuff. My decks are mainly stored in this drawer here, but these are just sitting on top of the upper shelf because I haven't worked with those that much. I still have to kind of connect and work with those. And my oracle cards and my Lenormand cards are also stored on the shelf because I'm not quite sure how I want to, well, where I want to put them. So for now, they're just living there on top of the shelf. Okay, in this drawer, well, I have to get quite up here. There's my spread cloth. Here's something, some runes and some pendulums and stuff like that. And under this spread cloth, there are my decks. Okay, I made myself a really funny looking kind of, I don't know, not a tripod because it doesn't have 3 legs, but something like that. And you would laugh if you could see it because it's made out of a vase and a plastic bottle. But okay, I hope it'll work and I can use both of my hands. So I'm going to nestle my my phone in it, and I'll be right back. Okay, here I am, both hands. I'll try to go in chronological order. I hope I can remember it all just right, but, well, if I don't, you'll never know. Okay, so this is the very first deck I bought. This is the Sacred Circle Tarot. I always make this kind of bags for my decks. I make them by hand. I don't even bother to get the machine out, so I just store them like that, and I'll wrap them in silk. I don't know why I do this, to be honest. I just felt like it, and it just got like a tradition or something. So that's that. I'm going to put it to the side. So this is the Sacred Circle Tarot, das Tarot der neuen Hexen. I bought it, I think around 16, 17, 18 years ago, something like that. So it's quite old. And I didn't research it. I just fell in love with the image of the High Priestess, which is painted on the box, and I just loved it. And I just bought it from the shelf. Just show you some of the images. There's always this keyword on top of it, so you don't, I'll just turn it around. It'll be easier. Easier to see and easier to work with. So I wasn't quite able to connect with this deck intuitively. I always had to go back to the book and read the paragraphs about one card. So I didn't, well, I used it. At that time, I really used it a lot. I didn't use it, or I don't use it right now that much. Although now that I'm looking at the cards, they're quite stunning. At least some of them are. This was my main problem because the pips are unillustrated in a way. So there is no scenes shown like we know with the Rider-Waite-Smith system. So in this case, it's the 6 of Cups, and you see 6 of Cups and a bit of a landscape. But I do love the mages. I hope you can see them all right. Try to avoid the glare. I love the use of like plants and herbs around the edges, because they all mean something. They're not just there because they're looking nice. They are meant to be like that. Oh, I really love some of the images. Ah, here it is. Oh, it's meant to be. This was the image I fell in love with. This is the High Priestess. And isn't it gorgeous? Oh, I just love it. I love this image. Maybe I should work with this deck a bit more. I feel like it would be worthwhile. Okay, the next deck I bought was the Llewellyn Tarot. And I bought this because I wanted a deck that was based on Rider-Waite-Smith. And I bought it quite a couple of years later than the Sacred Circle Tarot, because tarot somewhat left my side for a couple of years, so I just wasn't interested in it that much. But when it came back to me ferociously, I wanted something more Rider-Waite-Smith based, because I thought most of the books you find are on Rider-Waite-Smith. Most of the research you do online is on Rider-Waite-Smith, so it's easier to get access to information on Rider-Waite-Smith systems, I thought. Now I know that you can get a lot of information about the other systems as well, but at that moment I thought it would be the easiest way, and I liked the imagery. I just liked it. So this is this is the Llewellyn Tarot, and I trimmed it. I didn't like the borders, and just after going through the cards a couple of times, you really don't need them, because it's pretty obvious which card you have in front of you. You don't need the titles for that. So I'm just showing you some of the cards. Oh, I love the Hanged Man. Gorgeous. I still love this deck. I definitely do. Never regretted buying it. Okay. Let's move on. The next deck I bought was one I got used. And it's the Tarot of Transformation. I made a review on that. I will link... Oh, it's quite tightly stuck in there. We'll link to the video in the description box. So I'm quickly going through the cards. I just felt it was the right deck at this time. Oh, it's still, I haven't used it since the video, so it's kind of still in the right order, just with a couple of exceptions here. So I can at least show you some of the major arcana cards. But like I said, I have a video up for this deck, so you can see all the cards in their beauty there. I love this card. And I just got this because I fell in love with the imagery, and I love the way it's quite abstract and artistic, and I just love, but I didn't know that beforehand, but I really, really love the feel of this deck, because it's a healing deck. It's a nurturing and healing and loving deck, and you don't find that kind of oracle feeling. It's almost like an oracle deck. It was like, I haven't had any oracle decks at that time, so I always imagined an oracle deck to feel like this, and I think I'm quite right about that. So a beautiful deck. The next one I bought was just purely because I was blown away by the imagery, and it's the Shadowscape Tarot. Sometimes decks have kind of an elemental feel to them, for me at least, and this deck just, it got an airy feel to it. I always feel like it's one of those fresh summer breezes, kind of clearing your head. And I just love this deck. I can't put enough loves in here. So it's just beautiful. I trimmed it as well, just because I like it better this way, but to be honest, you don't have to trim it. The borders are very unobtrusive, just very tiny gray borders, like almost silvery. Oh, isn't this gorgeous? It's stunning art-wise. I just love it. My favorite fool. And like I said, I just bought it because I really loved the imagery, and because it differed quite a lot, like art-wise, it differs a lot from the decks that I already owned. So I just wanted to get it. To be honest, I just wanted to have it. The next deck was the Druidcraft Tarot. And this one is the only deck that I didn't wrap in silk, or in just silk, because it's wrapped in a mixture of silk and linen. And I just love it. So I can use the wrappings, in a way, the silk cloths, or like in this case, it's the linen and silk cloth. I can use as spread cloths as well. So that's why this one is a bit larger. I can't talk today, I'm sorry. This one is a bit larger. Now we have it. Because the cards are a bit larger. Or at least they were before I trimmed them down. So this is the Druidcraft Tarot. And this one is my earthiest tarot I have. So it's this one. If I have to pick an element for this deck, it would be earth. And I feel it's grounding. It's such a grounding deck, and it's straightforward, and it's not blunt, it's not harsh, but it's very straightforward. I knew Kelly said something similar, and that's just, I definitely can, I forgot the word right now. Well, I can say yes to that, because it's a very straightforward deck. It doesn't talk around some stuff. It just says what you need to hear. And no, not need to hear, but it says the truth, whether you want to hear it or not. It's just out there. I just love it. And I'm stumbling over the words right now, just because I wanted to do. I kind of feel like I need to do this deck justice, because I love it. It's one of my main decks. The Druidcraft deck, the Shadowscape deck, and those two are my main go-to decks. And one of the decks that I'll come to later, just added into that category as well. I just love those. And I love that the imagery is quite, well, simplistic would be too much, but it's not overloaded by symbols in a way, but still you find a lot of details in the cards, and you find a lot of symbols in the cards, and it's able to just I had this with this deck a couple of times, when your attention is just drawn in by some small detail of the cards, and it just changed the meaning of the cards completely, or an aspect of the cards. So I had this with the Six of Wands, where I wasn't able to see the hero anymore in this specific reading. My eyes were just drawn to the people behind him, who looked quite exhausted, and that really it summarized the reading at that point. So it just was perfect. So I really love this deck. It's, like I said, it's very warm and grounding and straightforward. So if you almost like Lenormand kind of stuff, because it's out there, but still it goes very, very deep, and it's absolutely accurate, like all of the time, at least for me. I love it. Have I said that I love this deck? I think so. Okay, the next deck I bought was, I think it was this one. Oh no, it's not true. Let's put this to the side. It was this one, the Fairy Lights Tarot. I incorporated this deck in my last video about modifying a deck quite largely. And I can work with this deck after I modified it, but it's not my favorite deck. Still, it's not my favorite deck, but I just have to, well, show it here because it's one of my decks. And I didn't even mention the name. It's the Fairy Lights Tarot. As you can see, I trimmed it as well, and I did not only trim it, but I rearranged the cards. So it's not like it's it doesn't have to do much with the deck it was when it came to me. So let's say it like that. And I like it now, and I can work with it now, but just because of the changes I did to it. And I didn't do much research on that deck either. I just liked the idea of the divided images. Whoopsie, I'm sorry. The divided images that much, so excuse me. I had to buy it. And I don't really regret buying it, because I think most things happen for a reason, so maybe there is something I'm able to learn from this deck. This one here is my next purchase, is the Steampunk Tarot. And, here we go. There's just one reason I bought it, I have to say. Just one reason. Kelly. The only reason is Kelly, and the main reason for that is Bert. Because in her card comparison, Kelly from the Truth in Story, she just associated, is that the right word? She connected the Fool card with Bert from Mary Poppins. And it just stuck in my head. I just couldn't get it out of my head. And it kind of, I don't know, it lived there. This thought lived there, and I had to smile over it. Like always, whenever I thought of it, I was smiling. And I thought maybe I should give this deck a try. And again, it's just filling a niche, because I haven't had like a steampunk deck at this time. And I mean, just look at this. Isn't it gorgeous? I hope you can see it at all, because again, on the display it's appearing quite dark. Oh, and I'm like out of focus. I don't know why these cards are in order, I have to say. I don't know what I did with them. Oh, sometimes I don't do readings for others that much. And mainly if I do, it's like for friends or family. And sometimes I just feel like I don't want to read with the cards at that point, because I don't have a specific question, or I just had done a reading a couple of days ago and I feel like I still have to work with that. But sometimes I just get the cards out and I just play a small game of solitaire. I don't know if that's an English word. It's a card game, and it's nothing spiritual. It's just a card game, and I just play sometimes I just play a little game of that, just to kind of mess around with cards, and I like it. I know some people will shake their heads and think, oh, that's not the way to read tarot cards. Show them a little bit more respect, but I just feel that's all right. And I just wanted to shuffle them and all that kind of good stuff. By the way, I love this strength card. Beautiful strength card. The next deck I bought was the Zen Tarot, which is this one. And I feel I'm probably not going to make a bag for it, because I feel it just feels quite right just in the silk, so I have to find something to bind it. Is that the right word? Oh my goodness. If I'm going over this video again when I'm uploading it, I'll probably cringe like thousand times. So let's go through this. I haven't worked a lot with this deck. I mainly, I played sometimes. I did 1 or 2 readings with it, but not too seriously. And I still have to work with it, and I still have to read parts of the companion book. So it's in order, because a couple weeks ago I tried again to read the book and look at the cards at the same time. So I put them in the right order for that. So like I say, I have to work with this, but I just love the feel of it. And like you can see with the silk cloth I made for it, it's got, even though these images are not fiery at all, but it got that kind of fiery feel to it. So if I had to pick an element for this deck, it would be fire. And for once again, I purchased the German version of it. Okay, my neighbor is just shutting the garage door and it's squeaking. I'm sorry, I don't know if you could hear that, but it was quite loud. Okay, back to the cards. So for once I purchased the German version of it. Usually I don't mind. Most of my decks are, to be honest, English versions of the decks. Just the das Tarot der neuen Hexen and the Zen Tarot are, I believe they are my only German decks. Oh, I love this. I really do. Gorgeous. Just gorgeous. I just love it. Yes, that's the Zen Tarot. I still have to work with this deck, and I will, because I love it. I love the imagery, and I love the theme of the deck. The next one I bought just because I wanted to fill a niche. That's all. And I wanted to fill it for myself. So obviously, I mean, okay, here I am admitting it. I'm just reading for myself, and most of the time. And I don't read every day for myself, and I don't even do daily draws, even though I think about it. I think about starting it again, because I never was quite into this, drawing a card at the beginning of the day, and I didn't like it. It didn't feel right to me, so I never did it. But I read a couple of times now of people who do daily draws at the end of the day, kind of to reflect back on the day, or maybe just do a card at the end of the week, kind of to reflect back on the week, something like that. So I'm kind of maybe I'm starting to do that. I'm not quite sure right now, but maybe I will. So what I wanted to say, to come back to what I wanted to say. Oh my goodness, I'm rambling so badly here. Okay, here I am, and I have a problem, I think, because I always said that I'm not a card collector, because I use all of my decks, or at least I intend to use all of my decks, and that's true. Of course, that's true. I don't buy a deck just because of the artwork, or because I wanted to look at it, or just because I wanted to have it, but I want to work with the decks. But as I said, I mainly read for myself, and let's be honest, I don't need that many decks to do that. And I don't need to fill niches to do that. So, okay, I'm admitting it. I'm a card collector. Well, and I'm blushing pretty badly right now, but you can't see it because I'm off camera. Yay! Okay, so I wanted to fill a niche with this deck, and I wanted one of those like dark decks. And I looked through a lot of them, and I really was kind of, no, that's not working for me with most of them. But then there were like two left, and one was the Tarot of Vampires, and the other one was the Ludi Lescott Tarot. I'm so sorry. It's hot. Maybe it's because of that I can talk. Okay, so I like the Tarot of Vampires, like artistically. I like the imagery, but I don't feel like I could read with it. I do have the app though on my mobile, because everybody was kind of like rambling and talking about the awesome companion book of the Tarot of Vampires. So I bought the app just because of the book, and I read through parts of it, not through all of it, but I really liked the stuff that I read about, and so it's a great book, I have to say that, but still no connection with the cards. So I'm glad that I didn't buy it, but I bought the Ludi Lescott Tarot, which is here. And it's probably still in order, because the last time I picked it up, I was just playing a game of solitaire with it. And as with the other decks that kind of were stuck here, I still have to work with it, because it differs quite a lot from the traditional Rider-Waite-Smith system in mainly the minor cards. I like the imagery. So this one's quite similar. This one differs a bit, so it's quite a different aspect of the lovers. I'm going to go through the pips. Ooh, nudity. I like the artwork, and I like, well, that it's a dark deck, but still I can work with it pretty fine. So I think I have a feeling that I will get along with this deck pretty well. So I just wanted to add some dark deck to the collection. It's two tarot decks left. The next deck that I bought was the Linestrider Tarot. And a funny story is that I ordered it on World Tarot Day, which I didn't even know of. So that was awesome. So that's the Linestrider Tarot. It came in after the next deck I'm going to show you. But like I said, I ordered it beforehand. So the Linestrider Tarot. I did a review on that as well, and so it's probably in the right order. Yes, it is. And I will link to that video in the description box. I just bought it because there are a couple of reasons why I bought it. I kind of felt like I wanted something more simplistic or less crowded. And I love that it's just like images on a white background. So I really love the way the cards are, and I loved the artwork. It's awesome. And I love that even though it's like not that huge of images, it's not going all the way to the edges of the cards, but still there is so much like symbolism in the cards, and you really can read the cards intuitively without it's not hard to kind of connect to these cards, even though the images are very well simple in a way. So I really like this deck a lot. I love the strength card again. Beautiful. Like I said, I did a review on that where you can see all the cards. So that's the Linestrider Tarot. And usually there was no need for me to buy this deck straight away, but I knew that it was kind of selling out slowly, and I wanted it in this version. I wanted the version. It was a self-published deck at this point, so it'll be published by Llewellyn next year. But I wanted to have this version of it, so I just bought it. And the last purchase I did was my Tarot of the Hidden Realms. I kind of had my mind around this deck, or had this deck on my mind for quite some time, and I was like circling around this deck, but I always thought, well, okay, maybe next month. And then on World Tarot Day, I won a tarot reading by Kelly, and which was awesome, I have to say. Awesome reading. And she used the Tarot of the Hidden Realms. And I mean, I already was in love with this deck, but after the reading, I was like, okay, I have to have it. There's no way I can wait for this deck any longer, so I just bought it. And here it is. Gosh, it's such a stunning deck. And I said before that another deck was added to my kind of go-to decks, which were the Druidcraft and the Shadowscape at that time. The one deck that was added was the Tarot of the Hidden Realms, because it's just stunning. There's nothing more I can say about it. It's just stunning. I love the depth of the images. I love that it's so, like, it just goes so deep. Gosh, it's so beautiful. I'm in loss of words. I'm always kind of speechless when it comes to the Tarot of the Hidden Realms, because it feels so personal in a way. It's just a stunning, stunning deck. Okay, there are a lot of awesome reviews out there for the Tarot of the Hidden Realms. I recommend this deck highly, like I do with most of my other decks, because most of my decks were like highly researched, and most of them are highly loved decks. So I'm not regretting one single purchase, so I'm fine with all of those. Okay, just two more, because I don't think that it'll make sense to not add them here, because this is my only Lenormand deck and this is my only Oracle deck. I do own the Celtic Lenormand. There are some other cards left down here, which I don't use, but these are the 36 cards that I use. And I just love it. I love the imagery. I love that it goes so well, and I just love the way it works with the tarot, Druidcraft tarot. Awesome. beautiful. It's just beautiful. And I think I'm out of focus. Come on. I just love the artwork, or the way, this simple way, but beautiful way Will Worthington paints the images. So, stunning. Okay, so that's the only Lenormand deck that I own as of yet, because I have a feeling that it won't be the last. I think probably the next deck that I'll buy will be another Lenormand deck, and it'll be the Alone's Vision Lenormand, which I really like the imagery of. And then that's my only Oracle deck, and it's the the Druid Plant Oracle, das keltische Pflanzenorakel. I bought this one in a German version as well, because I thought it'll be easier to have all the herbs and plants names in German, because I do own quite a lot of books on herbs, mainly herbs, not in their spiritual sense, but in their kind of healing sense. So I like to have the names in German. So I still have it in its box because I don't know where to put it. I trimmed it down, obviously, on one of the spare cards, free cards I made. Well, it doesn't want to come out now. I wrote the Ockham. I really don't have a clue how to pronounce that. Well, the Celtic tree, alphabet in a way. So I wrote this one down because around the edges there's an inscription, and I didn't know that, but one of the viewers of one of, Kelly's videos pointed that out, and I really like that. Okay, so that's the Druid Plant Oracle. And again, I love it. I trimmed it, of course. Of course I trimmed it. And I really love that. It works so beautifully with the other two decks, like the Celtic Lenormand and the Druidcraft, and it's just beautiful. It's like you could go through this image to the house image of, or the house card of the Celtic Lenormand. So beautiful. Okay, I'm not going to show you all of the images because the video already, well, if you've ever seen any of my videos, you know that this would be a long video, so you already knew it, so I'm not even apologizing for that. Okay, so that's it. Like I said, there are in this drawer, there are my runes, and my pendulums, which are in here, and spread cloth for runes as well. And that's it. I'm not going to show you all of that as well, because I don't want to bore you. Okay, so that's it. That's a long video on my decks, mainly tarot decks. And I wish you all a beautiful day out. Have a nice day. Bye.